What's up, everybody? This is MJ. Let me give you the full MJ experience. Let me put my glasses on. What's up, everybody? This is MJ, and welcome to our Tuesday training. We normally are here on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week, and possibly in the future, we will be here on Monday and on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But either way, every time we come before you, we will be bringing you some phenomenal content that will help you to take your business, your shop, your boutique from good to great. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about to Shopify or not to Shopify. That is the question. So we're going to be going a little Shakespearean on you right here, right? Let me get my camera together. See, because Shopify, for those who don't know, for those who might have been living under a rock for the last few years, Shopify is a full service e-commerce platform that's kind of plug and play to where all you have to do is bring your idea, your product, your service, or whatever it is, and it helps you to create almost like an instant shop. There's a variety of templates out there. There's all kinds of, things for those of you who are not graphic designers like I am, and like so many are, who don't know how to put together a website. It makes it super easy to do that. But a lot of times people wonder, should I use Shopify? Just because everybody else is doing it, is it the right platform for me? Should I use Wix? Should I use something else? And is this decision of to Shopify or not to Shopify, is it even something you need to be worried about? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is whether or not, or how to make the decision about whether you use Shopify or not, and whether it's even something you need to be worried about at this stage in the game of building your boutique. First, I want to talk about kind of why people come to this decision, or why they're worried about this when they don't even have a boutique to begin with. And this is where you have to understand what truly makes you in business. Is it having a website? Is it buying a bunch of inventory and putting it in your closet because you have no idea how to sell it? Is it buying a domain name? What makes you actually being in business? Is it setting up an LLC with your state that you live in and establishing that your business is in business? What do you have to do to start a business? So many people make the big mistake of running out there, taking some pictures with their smartphone, putting them on a Shopify and saying, here, look, I have a boutique, I'm in business. But you ask them 6 months later, how much money have you made in your boutique? And they're like, oh, I made $200 a couple months ago, and then it was $50, and then it was $300, and then it was nothing for a couple of months. But I'm in business, right? Meanwhile, every day they're clocking into the job that they've had all along. No shade to having a job, but if your desire is to have a full-time boutique, you need to know what it takes to actually have a real business and not just set up a Shopify. But before we get over into that, because y'all know I love to talk about that, let's first talk about the Shopify decision. Should you use Shopify or not? The bottom line is you can use whatever e-commerce platform you want to, right? Shopify is the one that made their platform super user-friendly. They got out into the marketplace. They were like they weren't the first e-commerce platform by any stretch. You've had them for at least a couple of decades now, but they were the ones that have gotten super popular because they figured out, usually from watching what the original people did in that space, what to do better, what to eliminate, what to bring on. And so they have a really great platform. Again, if you have no graphic design experience, they can help you build a website, e-commerce site, where when someone looks at it, when they go to your site, they won't be able to tell that you're an amateur just kind of pointing and clicking. See, here's what's true. Back let's say 20-something years ago, when more and more people got on the internet, and you open up a website and it had all these fluorescent green colors and everything was all jumbled and was all busy. Every website looked like that, and we were glad to have that technology because that's all there was. Fast forward decades later, we expect a polished experience. We expect when we click on a button, it immediately goes to where it's supposed to go. We expect that we can trust where we put our credit cards to buy things online for those of us who buy online. And so you have an expectation of what your shopping experience should be when you go to a website, and you don't care whether the person is new in business or not. You don't care whether they're having difficulties here or there. You want things to work the way you want them to work. Well, your customers are not going to be any different from that. So you need a polished site, and it cannot be that you don't have a polished site because you're new or because you can't afford a $10,000 website that's custom made to you or things of that nature. And so Shopify solves that problem for you. They give you the ability to have a super polished site with no web design experience, without the thousands of dollars of outlay. They make it easy to add your pictures. They make it easy to set your prices and to do little discounts and sales and all of that, and integrate it with your email list if you email your customers, which you should, by the way, if you're in business. They make all of that super easy, but they are not the only site out there that does that. And if you do a little bit of research, for example, if you Google Shopify, their site will come up first, but then all of their competitors will come up after that, because they've set it up so that when people look for Shopify, they can be found along with that to say, hey, we're a better alternative. We're cheaper. We're easier to use. We have better customer service. We have this, we have that. So I don't want you thinking that you need to spend 2 or 3 weeks researching an e-commerce site. The worst that can happen is you don't like the site that you end up being on and you shift to another one. It's a little bit of work, but you can do that. So it's not a decision you need to be spending 2 or 3 weeks on. As a matter of fact, most of your decisions in your business should not be taking you a week, 2, 3 to make. As a CEO, you have to be able to make decisions in the moment. You have to trust your best instinct, trust the information that you have, the best information at the time, and go with it. So I don't want you spending a lot of time debating Shopify. If you don't have a point of reference, if you don't know what's good, what features are better, what features are worse, just use it. If you don't like it, 3 months later, you can switch to something else. A lot of times, the decision of to Shopify or not to Shopify, or any of these other decisions that people get hung up on for weeks and weeks and weeks, is really a place to hide from doing the thing that they fear. And that's what's really true. A lot of times we're afraid to maybe make that real investment of what you need for your business. Maybe you're buying inventory. Maybe you're investing in getting help. Maybe you're, buying equipment, whatever that is. You don't want to do that. So you make yourself busy worrying about the perfect logo for a business that you've not even outlined the mission or the vision for. You're worrying about what kind of e-commerce site you should go with, when quite frankly, all of them do about the same thing. Yes, some are better than others, but that's not what you should be worrying about, especially in the early days of building your business. Putting together your e-commerce website is so far down the list of things you need to be worried about when you are launching a brand new boutique. It's not even funny. It doesn't even matter. Once you have outlined everything for your business and you have your strategy and you have all the concepts together and you've got your team together and all those things, then you can worry about which website. And that shouldn't be a long decision. It should be, you go out on the internet, you pick one, you open an account, and you go ahead and do it. The reason we're talking about this today is what we're really talking about is the decisions that you allow to stop you from moving into what you need to be doing. And if that's what you're doing, whether you're debating Shopify, whether you're debating branding colors, because how can you be branding your business when you don't even know the infrastructure of your business or the framework or what it's about? You really shouldn't be. You might have an idea, but that's not something you should be focusing on. Get some money coming in the door and then worry about all that stuff. You know what I mean? Don't get caught up in the busy work that doesn't make you money, and get set on the things that are going to get you ready to be successful. Because a retail business that's not making sales, that's not bringing in revenue, is not in business. That's a hobby. It's not a business just because you have a Shopify. It's not in business because you have any kind of website. It's not in business because you have a logo. Why do you need a logo when you don't have any idea how you're going to reach the people who are going to buy your product? Why do you need a website when you don't yet know what you're going to do to serve them so that when they trust you with their money, they get a top tier experience? On the internet especially, it may be a little bit less complex from a logistics standpoint to have an online business, and it can be less expensive from an overhead perspective. But don't confuse yourself that the game is played any different from the customer's side, whether you're online or in person. I am a huge online shopper. Just earlier today, I was commenting that on any given day of the week, it stands to reason that a package will be arriving here from some merchant. I'm always buying things online. I love shopping online. I love shopping, period. So I'm always throwing that credit card out there. But guess what? You have one time to not fulfill my order as promised. You have one time to not send me a confirmation and keep me informed if there are delays and when I can get my tracking number and all that. And I'm going on to somebody else. Why? There are millions of websites out here on the internet that you are competing with. Unlike a store in your community, which you only basically compete with whoever's within a several mile radius of where your shop is, right? Most people aren't going to drive 30 or 40 miles to avoid a store, depending on the experience that they've had. They'll go with who's closest. On the internet, everybody's as close as the tip of your thumb. So don't think you can get away with not having an infrastructure, not having a plan, not having a service strategy, not having a marketing strategy, and just think that because you're on the internet, people are going to find you. Guess what? The way the internet has unfolded in this last 30 years, even this last 20 years, even this last 10 years has made it so a lot of things are a lot easier, but it's also opened up the playing field to where you are playing. Your shop in town was a big fish in a small pond. Oh, I'm sorry, a small fish in a big pond. Your online shop, it's like a little piece of algae in the ocean. You're not even in a pond anymore. You are in an ocean. And if you don't know what you're doing, worrying about whether you use Shopify or not, and how you set it up, and I've got a domain name, let me set up my website. You ain't gonna need a website because nobody's gonna know where you are to come buy your stuff. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you worried about the decisions that matter. The decisions that come in those early days that most new entrepreneurs, I have no idea they should be thinking about these things. Or you think, oh, because it's home-based and I'm doing it part-time, I can just kind of wing it and figure it out. Hey, if that's your strategy, that's cool. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who hate their job or don't hate it, but want to do something better with their life or want to make more money or they feel undervalued, who want to be free this year, because it is possible, but it's not possible with a winging it strategy. It's not possible by just meandering along and I'm going to set up a website. I'm going to take some little grainy pictures with my phone or even some good pictures with your phone, and that's going to get it. For all my photographers who might be watching, nod your head or comment below if you know that there's more to taking a picture than having a great camera on your iPhone or your Android phone. Photographers get paid what they do for a reason. And so thinking that going back to Shopify, just slapping some substandard pictures on a website, that's not any good either. You need to be professional from day one. But if you don't know the things that you need to be worried about in those early days, the decisions you need to be making, the people you need to be hiring, the things you need to be setting up, your Shopify, your Wix site, whatever e-commerce site you use will be irrelevant. It does not matter if you do not set your business up for success. So you say, MJ, what do you mean set your business up for success? You say that all the time. What does it mean? Well, honey, it's not something that you can explain in 10 minutes on a Facebook Live. That's because setting up a real business is more involved than that. It's not something I can just tell you, oh yeah, you just do this. A lot of times we're looking for a quick road, and entrepreneurship for the long haul, for the wealth, for the freedom is not a short, quick, let me give you these 10 things and that's all you need. It's not like that. And anybody who tells you that it is incorrect. Anybody who tells you, oh yeah, all you got to do is do this and you're guaranteed to be successful. Honey, there's no guarantees out here. But what we can guarantee you is if you don't set your business up for success, if you don't make those early decisions, if you don't take the time to think things through and set it up, we'll guarantee that you won't be successful. Or if you happen to have a little bit of success, you won't be able to duplicate it because you won't ever be quite sure how you did it to begin with because it was just luck or a fluke that you can't repeat. And you don't want that. Because if you're going to step out there, quit your job, put your family at risk, which your family's already at risk no matter what you do. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have a job, you get your future's in somebody else's hands. That's risky too. But putting your family at risk by quitting your job, going out on your own, you don't want to do that on some ham scam. I'm just going to try it. And for those of you who think I can just figure it out on my own, that is the worst strategy because it's going to take a lot longer. You're going to make so many mistakes that are going to cost you time, that are going to cost you your confidence, that are going to cost you blood, sweat, and tears. It's going to cost you money. You won't want to do it that way. Why wing it when you can use a systematic way of starting a business the right way and be successful from the beginning? Every new business does not struggle for years before they have success. Some small businesses come out the gate swinging. There's a local restaurant that opened in my community last year, I think, because it was during the pandemic. And I mean, people were lined up outside to buy the first day. Why? It wasn't because they set up a website. They did some things to make sure their business was set up for success. The place was professional. It was well furnished. It was well promoted. It was well funded. You can't do that on a wing and a prayer. What you can do on a wing and a prayer is have a hobby that might make you some money sometimes. That's okay if that's your goal. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who want more. I'm talking to the people who want that $500,000 or $1 million business, and you want to get there before you're 80 years old. You don't want to be ancient. You want to do that now while your kids are little. You need a plan. You need a strategy. And Shopify is weeks down the road. Once you implement a structured step-by-step strategy with the right accountability, with the right support, it doesn't have to take forever to get to that payday. There are people who've come out the gate swinging where they're making $100,000, $200,000 in their first year. Or if you're like the crayon case lady, you're making $1 million in the first 90 days. I love telling this story. I mention it all the time because I'm super proud of her. Black lady. Look up her story. Crayon case, the makeup. It's awesome what she's doing. She didn't have that success winging it. I don't know how long she was in business. I haven't read everything of her story, but I tell you what, you don't have that kind of success winging it. And if you're telling yourself, I don't need to make $1 million in 90 minutes, that's fine. But you still need to do the things that it takes to set up your business so you're not spending money on inventory, which ends up in the closet, $2,000 worth of inventory over there because you don't know what to do with it, or ending up paying somebody for things that you don't need because you didn't know you don't need them, like an expensive website when you don't even have a business plan. These are the things that are important in the beginning. Shopify will be there for you when you get there. I recommend using it. Quite frankly, when you're new to something, you don't have a point of comparison, just use the most popular one. Then after you've been into several months and you're like, okay, I wish I had that feature, or I heard that I can do the same thing somewhere else now that I know what I'm doing, then you can move over, right? But in the beginning, it don't matter. Use what you need to use. But first, before you get to Shopify, before you start snapping pictures, or better off getting a photographer to do your pictures so people go to your website, they don't feel like you're a scam artist. Before you even get to that point, you need to be making decisions about how am I going to make sure that when I spend this money, when I borrow for my retirement or withdraw from it, or when I take out this business loan, or when I do this GoFundMe, or when I do whatever I do to capitalize my business and I start spending the money, that I'm spending it the right way, that I'm making sure that I know how to read a financial statement well enough to know whether my business is on the right track or not. You can't just look in your bank account and know whether your business is on the right track. The way that you know if your business is on the right track is by looking at financial statements. And if you don't even know what I'm talking about right now and you call yourself in business, that's some of the stuff I'm talking about. No judgment, because you don't know what you don't know. The problem is not knowing and not being willing to get help, or allowing fear to stop you. So many women say, I need help starting my business. I don't know what to do first. But then when help is offered to them, they get scared. And it's usually because now it becomes real. One of my clients told me recently that she's so glad that she has me nipping at her heels, holding her accountable, because when you reach out on a grander scale, now it's real. When you start speaking to other people about your business and putting it out there, it's real now, and you can't back off. You can't it's not just talk. And a lot of people are just out here talking. I want to have a business. I'm going to sell candles, whoop, whoop, whoop. They're doing stuff in their kitchen, but they say they want to make $1 million, but they're not willing to do what it takes and get the help they need to do that. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to those of you who have everything you need except the business acumen, and you want somebody to give you step-by-step instructions and help on how to build your business. You can do it the hard way. You can freaking try to Google it and YouTube it, which is the worst way to try to start a business, because how do you know if that stuff is right? And I guarantee you, YouTube creators are not answering your questions day in and day out. If you have questions about their websites or their videos or the instructions they gave you, if the steps that they told you don't work, guess what? you're SOL. Too bad, because I didn't promise you. I'm not here to help you. I'm here to help, but I'm not here to help you hold your hand while you try the things I tell you. They just putting information out there. I say this in love because it's true. You can Google a million how-to lists and watch a million videos, but there's something to be said for somebody walking with you through the process. Think about when you went to college. Did you just Google the stuff to get your degree? No, you had a professor, you had tutors, you had a teacher's assistant, you had all these things to help you succeed. You didn't just buy a textbook and say, I'm going to figure this out. And if you would do that for your degree, that helps you sometimes get a job, sometimes not. Maybe it helps you get a promotion. Maybe it just lines the wall of your office, right? Well, I won't say that that's all it did, but that's what it's doing right now. If you would invest that kind of time in learning how to earn your degree, why would you not think to do that to earn your $1 million business or your $500,000 business? What makes you think that all these people who are out here in the business space with these brands that succeed, what makes you think that you can just Google a couple of websites and figure out what it's taken them years to figure out? And see, the thing is, you don't have years. Most of you have already spent time in jobs and you're like, dang, I wish I had gotten this business idea when I was in my 20s or my 30s or my 40s, depending on what stage of life you're in. Do you have another 20 years to figure out what your competitors have figured out? Or would you rather have a step-by-step cheat sheet, a playbook, a game plan for getting there as quickly and as profitably as possible? It's not that the information is not out there, but everybody's not packaging it for your success. But if you are tired of trying to figure it out, and if you have a great idea, a great product that you know that the market will go wild about, if they just knew you were out there, if you just knew how to make money, if you just knew how to price your stuff, if you just knew who to hire, if you just knew how to save money, how to read a financial statement, if you knew those things, you'd be successful. If you are tired of struggling to figure this crap out, and I'm telling you, you cannot figure it out through anything but time or money. You're either going to invest the time and spend money as well over the course of the time, or you're going to find out the right way to do it quickly and get going on your dream. You got young kids that are growing up without experiencing the lifestyle you're dreaming about. You got aging parents that need you. You have trips to Dubai and Bali that you need to be taking. You got a house, a dream house that you want to build. You have a car that's falling apart that you want to replace. And most of all, you got your peace of mind that you haven't seen in years, because every time you walk into work, you got migraines, you don't feel good, and all of these things because you're not walking in your purpose, and your purpose is this close, but you don't know how to get there. If you are that person and you are ready now to get started, you're tired of dabbling, you're tired of gathering information on the internet, and you are ready to learn how to make all the decisions, not just to Shopify or not to Shopify decision, but all of the decisions, and know how to scale your business to the 6 and 7 figure level and beyond. I invite you to reach out now and book a free breakthrough call with me, yours truly, at MelanieHunter.com/chat. MelanieHunter.com/chat. That's Melanie with 2 L's. Hunter.com/chat. We'll get on the phone at the time that you select, and we're going to talk about what's holding you back. I know you've been worried about your website, but you got a lot of more stuff at stake. What are the things you are wondering about? What are the things you need help with, ma'am? And then we're going to talk about the dream. We're going to talk about your goals. Where do you want to go? Why is this business, this boutique, this shop so important to you? And then we're going to map out a roadmap to get you there this year. You're not going to be making $1 million this year necessarily, but you will have a trajectory and a plan and a strategy to get you there quickly before your kids are grown, before your job has literally driven you out of your mind. But it starts with a decision. It starts with being sick of being stuck where you are and realizing that what you're doing is not working. And if that's you, I look forward to talking to you. Book a call. I've got some time open in the next 2 business days. Fill out the application, because that's the only way to secure your place on my calendar. And then we will have a conversation. It's a free call. If your business isn't worth an hour of your time, how serious are you? Of course, it's worth an hour of your time. It's worth a lifetime, but you want to know how to do it the right way. So book your call now. Tomorrow, it won't be any easier. Next week, next month, next year, it won't be any easier, but you'll be that much further away from your dream. You'll be that much older and that much more discouraged, that much more fearful. Let's have a conversation so we can start to work on some of those barriers that you're having and get you on the road to success. It has been my pleasure to talk to you today. I always get so crunk because I'm so passionate about this, because I want to help you to get to your dreams. It's not going to happen by accident. It's not going to happen on YouTube and Google. I don't care what they're telling you. That's not how it works. You need help. And if we're fit to work together, we're going to get you started. And it's been my joy to share with you. Book your call now. Don't wait. And we will talk soon. You have a great night, and I will be back soon. Take care. Bye-bye.